Okay, right, we're going to try and extend this now because we've obviously got to this point here on the right hand side of the screen where we've completed task 1 and task 2. We're going to now look at task 3 and task 4 in this. I might finish after task 3, it depends on how long it takes, um, and maybe do task 4 separately. That's quite heavy going with formulas and functions. Whereas task 3 is really just about manipulating the data that we've got here. Um, so what we've done at the moment, if I check the top of my screen here, we're at course information v1b. Okay, so I need to resave that as course information 2a, so I'm going to do that now. So save as, and just call it course information version 2b, sorry 2a. Okay, it is still going to be an Excel workbook, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. And I will drop it in with all my other files that I should have already. So you should have 2 files already in this folder. One is course information backup and the other one is course information v1b. And now there will be a third one in there, which is this one. So let's crack on. So it says delete the referred column. So we have a column here, which is our referred column. Again, I can highlight that and I can right click and I can delete the column. And you'll see that it basically disappears completely and it continues here, moving all the cells that were out here across one. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F and G still, so it is in the same order. There isn't an actual column reference letter missing when we do that. So let's move on to the next thing. So we've got to create a linked copy of the worksheet course statistics. So this is our course statistics worksheet. So we need to create 2 new ones. So I'm going to do that first. So let's name the new worksheet. So I'm going to click down the bottom here. I'm going to right click in there and click rename. I'm going to call it, so name the new worksheet yearly statistics. Yearly underscore statistics. Statistics, yeah, there we go. And another one here, I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to rename that performance review. Okay, so we've got 3 worksheets that are now making up our workbook. Okay, so we need to create a linked copy. So what I said originally, okay, this table here is our main source of data. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to take a version of this into the other 2 worksheets, but they are linked. Both the 2 that I'm going to put in here will be linked back to this particular one here. So if any of the data changed in here for any reason, it would also update the one that's going to be in here and the one that's going to be in here because they are linked. Okay, so what you can do, if you highlight all this, you can just do copy. So I'm just going to copy it. All right, and then to put a linked one in here, I can just click in A1. There are ways that you can do this, but what you should see is an actual link which looks like a chain link. Okay, and in theory, and we'll try that in a minute just to make sure that it's all working, if I click on that it will copy it in to yearly statistics. Okay, so let's just test it out. So just check that it's actually there. There's no formatting on here, it doesn't carry the formatting over, it just carries the data over. So you can see here, for example, our percentages have changed. So we need to manipulate these in a minute. But first of all, so let's try focusing on the very last line. At the moment, our target is 900. Okay, let's see if I change the course data in here where it says 900 to say 950, see whether it's updated it to 950, and it has updated it to 950. Okay, so we're creating, so if I change this back to 900 now, it's changed it back to 900 as well, so it is linked. So any data that I change in here now will impact this, and if we're using formulas in this at all over here, it then means that those formulas will automatically update as well. So we've got a very dynamic workbook consisting of worksheets that are linked to one another. So that's basically what we've done here with the link copies. So let me just also, it's not done it, let's just do this again. So copy that, and again, just right click in A1 and then just say paste link, like so. Okay, it's not formatted, but it looks like we're going to be doing that later on anyway. It says ensure that the formatting is consistent on the two new worksheets with the formatting on the first worksheet. Now we know that we can use our form painter, which if we want to do that. So let's really just have a think about how we're going to do this. So if I wonder if I can do multiples. So if I do all of this, and I wonder if I can then do form painter by going into here and doing this. Does it allow that? No, it doesn't. Let me try again. So if I do form painter and do that again, there we go. It's actually, you can see that the you could actually see then when I did it, I'll do it with the second one, the actual you can see there that the pointer has changed to a plus with the paintbrush. So if I highlight these here, it's done that for me. So it has actually emboldened them. It's the same font and everything, it's just a slightly different scale because we're zoomed in slightly here, whereas with these two, we're still zoomed out slightly. Okay, so that's copied those out properly. Let's just fix this nonsense up here. So at the moment we got zeros in here, so we'll just cut those out. Sorry, delete them. Like so. There we go. So that is close. Sorry, I'm having to drink coffee while I do this to keep me going. So ensure that the formatting is consistent. In terms of the rest of the formatting, of course, we need to, if we double click on that, we have the same issues that we had earlier on, so I'm just going to bring that back in. In terms of the sort is still active. So it is sorted into course name, and then it's sorted into year group. So that's still working fine. So let me just do that one on this one here as well. So we'll just delete those out. What is it saying? The formatting is consistent. So in terms of formatting, we also need to do what we did in task 2. So there was bits and pieces that we did here. So one of them is going to be to just check that these are numbers. So I'm going to use format cells, then numbers. They were using the thousand separator and they were 0 decimal places. Okay, this one here was percentage, so I need to highlight them, right click somewhere in there, format cells. Okay, click to percentage. I think it was 1 decimal place. So that's looking better now. So I think that pretty much mirrors what we've got here, apart from the highlighting. So it's not going to be exact, but it'll be close. Okay. So it now says here, under the first row, under the year one group, create a function which adds up the total of each column, except for the percentage column. Add suitable row text to explain the values created, and replicate this for the other yearly groups. Okay, so it's saying for each column, create a function which adds totals, so except for the percentage column, and add suitable row text to explain the values created. So let's just have a think about how we're going to do this. You'll also notice now that because we've got a linked list, if we click on our data, you'll see that there's a use of course statistics relates to our workbook course statistics at the bottom here, and the exclamation mark is A3. So it's saying there in A3 of the course statistics that there is this here, and it will probably be the same here as well. So it's pretty much the same. So it's linked. So what we need to do is to create a total. Let me just work out what's going on here, because I'm trying to work out under the year one group. So what it's telling me here is that maybe everybody in year one needs to be in the same place, because this looks as though now I'm wondering if this is correct. So let me just check, because I'm wondering if it's not supposed to be, rather than course name, it's actually all of the year one group here, all of the year two group here, and all of the year group three. Maybe we haven't done, or I haven't done this correctly. So I'm going to have a think about this now. So I'm going to go back to my course statistics, and I'm going to look here, and I'm going to re-look at the sort again, which is here, sort. So maybe it's the other way round then. So this group here needs to go up, and then OK. That looks better, because it's asking me in this question to insert a section here so that I can add up all of the year one results. These are still in alphabetical order, so that sort's worked. But what we've done is we've basically sorted the priority around so that this column here is actually the priority, and then this one comes second. So back in task 2, where it asked us to sort, where is that? Sort the data in ascending order of course name and then years. Really, it's the other way around. So ascending order in years and then course name. Okay, so we're keeping these together so that we can do the next stage. Now let me check what's happened here. Okay, great. So because we've got a linked copy, it's followed the original. So in changing this now, it's also updated these for me. So that's saved me a little bit of work. Okay, let's move on to where we were just now. So we need to insert yearly statistics. Right, sort the data, that's task 3. Oh, okay, so it was the other way around. So that didn't make sense. Sort the data in ascending order by year and then course name. Okay, so let's just go back and change that then. So it's not this data that needs to change. it's actually everything in here that needs to change. So I'm just going to do another sort. So if I'm in yearly statistics when I do this, and so I'm going to sort it but use a different priority. So I'm going to prioritize the year group first on an A to Z, in other words 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to add a level, and then I'm going to sort by course name, and again A to Z. So if I click OK, that's basically done what I'd done before, but it means that this data, my original course statistics data, is back to how it was before. So the two are different. I'm going to leave that one where it is, the performance review, because I think that comes in the next task. So this is correct now. So this is looking as though I'd made the mistake by misreading it. So this bit here is correct, and then it asks you to rejig the yearly statistics one. At this point. So we've sorted the data ascending by year and then course name. It says create a break between the rows so that the year groups are clearly separated. So these are our year groups, so that's year 1. Here's year 2. Year 3's here. Okay, so let's so create a break. So I'm just going to insert here a row. So insert. I'm going to insert a row here. I'm going to insert a row here. Okay, so I've now got room under all of these to be able to put stuff in. So under year 1, under year 2. So in the first row under year 1 group, create a function, so not a formula, but a function which adds up the total of each column, except the percentage column. So obviously we can't add that up, but we can add this up. So it says use a formula, a function, sorry, rather than a formula. If we were told to use a formula, you could do equals C3 plus C4 plus C5 plus C6 plus C7 plus C8, or you could do equals A3 colon to A8, and that should also do it. But it's telling us to use a formula. So our formula is going to be sum. How you do this is up to you. There's different ways of doing it. You can use the auto sum function if you want to. I'm going to do it manually because I always do. So it's going to be an equal sum. So I'm adding up. I need to open a bracket and just highlight the range. And I join that using the colon. So you can see there what I'm doing, and I'm going to close the bracket, press enter, and it's added that up for me. So that's the total. You can see the formulas up here in the formula tab, formula bar. Now because I'm adding up, and all I'm doing is adding up the same things, I can drag it across. So again, just watch my cursor changes to a tiny cross when I get to the bottom right, and I can just drag it across those three. Okay, so I'm going to put a suitable heading in here. So year 1. Let's say total. I'll start with total at the front. It's total for year 1. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that and just make it a little bit more obvious. And I'm going to highlight these as well. So let me just highlight those and bolden them as well. I'm going to repeat. So I'm going to do total year 2. So equals sum. And again, the reason that I do it like this is because this is how I've been doing it for about since 1990 when I started using spreadsheets. But you'll find that there's a million ways to do things in Excel. The same thing. So have I got to carry on going with this? So it just says the first one, add suitable row text to explain the values created. This is my row text year. The total for year 1 is this row here. Total for year 2. Replicate this for the other yearly groups. So I'm doing that already. Total year 3 equals sum, open bracket, colon, close bracket, press enter, and then just drag that across. So it's much easier than counting on your fingers. It's quite a powerful tool if you use it. Total year 4, and again equals sum, open bracket, move the cursor, colon to say the part start point and finish point. So that's our range, press enter, and then just drag it across and just format it. Okay, so that is that. It says create a new column to the right of the data with a heading annual percentage and format this heading to be the same as the other headings. Okay, so let me just check that. Create a new column to the right of the data with the heading annual percentage. Annual percent. Okay, and again we'll use our format painting function here, like so. It says create a formula to calculate the percentage percentage value based on total passes for the year. Okay, so it says total passes for the year. So by the looks of it, we're going to be pointing to this data here and putting something in here. So it's a combination of all of this data here because we're using the totals here for it. So rather than having it all split into courses, it's going to be the total for the entire year now, which kind of makes sense. So we can put in something here. Does it say that we have to use a formula or a function? So it just says a formula, which is pretty straightforward. So if we do equals this one here, the total number passed divided by the target number. Why has it done that? That's interesting. That should be 100%. Let me just check that we're using the same. So equals that divided by that. Again is 1. What's going on here? Let's make sure that is set up as a percentage. Format cells, percentage, 1 decimal place I'm assuming. That's interesting. The data is very close, but it's not that close. Hang on, that wasn't right. Format cells, percentage, 1 decimal place, 85%. Yeah, I don't know why it's coming up with ones then, but once you convert it to a percentage, it seems to work, which is a bit weird. We'll continue with it though. So equals that one divided by C23, and we'll just carry on. Weird. Divided by, again, our target, which is 1. Again, if I format this, right click on it, format cells, tell it it's a percentage to 1 decimal place, 82%, And here again, format cells, percentage, 1 decimal place. So there you go. That would kind of make sense. As you went through, you would find that there would be a falling off. So the data, when I'm looking at it now, kind of makes sense, is that it's decreasing for each year, which kind of makes sense. So if you had a year 5, it would be probably less than, it would probably be about 75%. So that kind of makes sense, and it also shows that we're probably using real data here or something close to. So that's interesting. Right, let's just catch up on this again. So we've done that. We've created a formula to calculate the percentage value based on the total passes for the year against the total target for the year. Apply the same conditional formatting to that used in the percentage column. Okay, so we've got to do, you'll also notice that I've done a special spelling mistake there for you as well. That should say a macro. So we could actually record a macro when we do this. Hang on. What I would just tell you at this point is that if you haven't done Unit 301 yet, there's a very good opportunity to do a write-up about a macro, which would make your life very easy. Something to talk about and how you tested it and why you used it and why you would use it in the real world. Basically because it makes you much more efficient and productive if you used a macro to do this. Let's go through what we did here because it didn't carry over the same formatting. I'm just going to copy over the same formatting. It's going to be slightly different because of the way that we sorted things in our original course statistics. So in yearly statistics, it's going to be slightly different. So I don't think I can do it for the whole column, and I tell you why. It's because of these gaps here. And when it sees that there's 0 in there, it might decide we'll try it and see what happens. So we'll try the conditional formatting. So we'll use the highlight rule. So for everything greater than, we said 99.9%, we fill it with a green fill. So that has actually worked. Okay, and if I do everything with less than, I might end up with these being shaded because there's no value in them, but it's 0. But we'll find out what happens. So we'll just do that again. So we've got to do it again now for the less than. So anything under 100%. So 100% is got to be red. Yeah, so it's actually filled these in. We could do no fill, so we could actually remove the fill, I think. Does that not letting us do it? No, it's fine. So let's just undo that last one. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll just do them for each. I suspect there's a way that you can create a much longer rule, but I'm going to try. So anything less than 100%. Sorry, yeah, 100% is going to be red, which has worked. Anything here that's less than 100% is going to be red. And again here, anything less than 100%. There might be ways to speed this up, but I've not looked into it. It's just a little bit fiddly. The only reason we're doing it really is so that people that are reading this table can actually see what's going on because it's been highlighted for them. Let me just reread this. Apply the same conditional formatting to that used in the percentage column. So again, if it's greater than 99%, 99.9% is going to be green. These ones it's obvious, so you're just going to basically set the rule where it's less than 99.9 or less than 90. Hang on, start again. So less than, it's going to be 99.9%. It's going to be red. Again here, it's going to be the same. We know what the outcome is going to be, but we've got to run through the, so it's 100%. Fill with red. And this one here again, less than. Fill with red. Like so. Okay, so that is what it's after us doing. We could do a macro. That is quite long-winded. So you could use a macro with it if you wanted to. It says enhance the worksheet using any suitable formatting to further identify the yearly groups. It doesn't really need anything else. So I don't really think it's worth doing anything with. So from a distance it looks fine. I mean, we could put tables in, but it's not worth doing that yet. I don't think it's worth doing it. So you could actually create tables for each of these. But at the moment it kind of looks as how you would expect it. So it says now that you need to save the workbook file. So I'm just going to save, just check the course information v2a is the file name that you've got at the top. I'm going to do a save as anyway, just to check. So this is course information v2a, and it is a workbook, and it's going to be dropped into my folder, which is fine. There's already a version in here, so it might question me. And it says it's just making sure, do I want to replace it? Yes, I do. Okay, so that's the end of task 3. It's not too bad. I think what I'll do, let me just check the amount of time. So we're up to 32 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I think now, is I'm going to put this up onto YouTube now, and I'll do task 4 separately.